My name is Ryan, and I've spent most of my life in the shadows of my own identity. By day, I'm just another college student, navigating assignments, part-time work at a bookstore, and the occasional awkward social encounter. But by night, or more precisely, whenever I'm alone, I indulge in something far more daring, the art of transformation. Crossdressing, to me, isn't just a hobby. It's a portal into a world where I feel alive, free, and undeniably visible in a way Alex, the version of me the world sees, never could be. It all started subtly, with borrowing my older sister's clothes when she was out, or experimenting with a little makeup in the bathroom mirror. At first, it was just curiosity, a way to play with textures, colors, and feelings that seemed otherwise inaccessible. But over time, it became an obsession, a secret sanctuary where I could explore confidence, beauty, and charm without judgment. I felt my personality shift subtly in those moments. Alex became bolder, more expressive, more me. The apartment I shared with two other students wasn't ideal for privacy, but I had my routines down. Lock the door, draw the curtains, and enter a world of skirts, blouses, and heels that made my legs feel impossibly long. I'd style my hair, apply foundation and blush, line my eyes, and carefully craft lips into perfect curves. Each step was a thrill, a blend of anxiety and exhilaration, as I watched the transformation take shape in the mirror. There was something addictive about watching the reflection evolve from ordinary to extraordinary, from Alex to someone entirely new. And then there was Chloe. She wasn't my girlfriend, at least not yet, but she was undeniably the center of my secret fantasies. She was vibrant, playful, and effortlessly beautiful, with a laugh that made my chest tighten and my stomach flutter. We had been friends for months, sharing coffee breaks, library sessions, and late-night study marathons. And like every crush I'd ever had, she seemed untouchable, charming, teasing, yet just out of reach. The twist came one evening during a casual hangout at my apartment. Chloe was lounging on the couch, flipping through a magazine, while I nervously adjusted a borrowed dress in the bedroom. I hadn't meant for her to see, of course, but a misplaced step, a loose door, and suddenly she peeked in. I froze, heart pounding, cheeks burning as she raised an eyebrow. For a moment, nothing happened. Then she laughed, a bright, melodic sound that made me feel simultaneously mortified and exhilarated. "Ryan, you look kind of cute," she said, half teasing, half sincere. That single line sent a jolt through me, a mixture of relief and panic. My secret, my sanctuary, was exposed, but to her, of all people. Instead of recoiling or judging, Chloe leaned closer, her grin widening. "Honestly, I didn't know you could pull it off. You should do this more often." Her tone was playful, teasing, but there was an undertone of curiosity that left me dizzy. I could hardly speak, words tangled in my throat. Alex would have panicked, retreating into excuses and embarrassment. But the version of me that existed behind the mirror, the confident, daring persona, felt a surge of courage. That night, Chloe didn't just see me. She acknowledged me. She laughed, teased, and, unintentionally, perhaps, opened the door to something far more complicated. As she left later, she turned and added almost casually, "You know, you'd make a cute girlfriend." Her words lingered in the air long after she disappeared down the hallway. My heart raced. Was it a joke? A challenge? Or an unspoken invitation into a world I had never dared to step into? The days that followed were a mixture of anxiety, anticipation, and secret excitement. Every text from Chloe, every glance in the library, every casual brush of her hand against mine carried a new weight. I found myself imagining what it would be like if she really treated me as her girlfriend, if I could be both Alex in public and this daring, beautiful version of myself in private. The line between reality and fantasy blurred, leaving me teetering on the edge of something thrilling yet terrifying. At home, I practiced. I experimented with new outfits, new hairstyles, and subtler makeup techniques that made the transformation seamless. Each time, I imagined Chloe walking in, her reaction, her teasing tone, the warmth in her smile. And each time, I felt that exhilarating mix of fear and desire, the possibility of being seen fully, truly, yet secretly hoping she wouldn't judge, that she would play along, that she might even want more. That initial exposure set off a chain of events I hadn't anticipated. What started as a playful peek into another life became a suspenseful dance of secrecy and revelation, desire and restraint. Every meeting with Chloe, every fleeting moment, carried the tension of what might happen if the full truth of who I was when I transformed, was revealed. And every time she called me cute, playful, or teasingly referred to me as her girlfriend, the stakes rose. It wasn't just about cross-dressing anymore. It was about identity, vulnerability, and the delicate balance of being accepted for all facets of myself. Chloe's presence, her teasing, and the possibility of her genuine interest created a whirlwind of emotional tension I had never navigated before. My secret life, my personal sanctuary, had collided with the unpredictable, thrilling world of romance, leaving me exposed, exhilarated, and desperate to see where this could lead. The introduction sets the stage. A college student exploring crossdressing as a private passion, unexpectedly seen by his crush, Chloe, whose playful teasing opens a doorway to a thrilling, suspenseful, and emotionally charged journey. From here, the story moves into the build-up, where Ryan's transformations, inner struggles, and suspenseful moments intensify, driving toward a climax that will leave viewers captivated. After that fateful evening, the world felt different. Chloe's teasing words had planted a seed, a mixture of excitement, fear, and longing that refused to settle. Every time I thought about her, it wasn't just the crush anymore. It was a heightened awareness that my secret life could intersect with hers, that she might enjoy seeing me in ways no one else had, and that the lines between friendship, flirtation, and something more were blurring. At home, I started experimenting more deliberately. The mirror became my confidant, the apartment my private stage. I tried soft pastel dresses that brushed just above my knees, skirts that swayed with every step, and blouses with delicate lace that highlighted subtle curves. Makeup became more than just foundation and blush. It was a carefully crafted illusion. Eyeshadow was blended to perfection, mascara lengthened lashes to a dramatic effect, and lipstick added a sensual pop that drew attention to my expressions. Each transformation was meticulous, an intimate ritual that awakened something thrilling within me. But along with excitement came fear. Each time I heard Chloe approaching the apartment, or even a message from her popping up on my phone, my pulse spiked. Was she teasing me for fun, or had she truly noticed something deeper? Would she ever see me the way I wanted, or would her playful teasing turn into judgment, rejection, or ridicule? The duality of exhilaration and anxiety consumed me. I was both Alex, nervous and unsure, and the persona I created, confident and radiant, poised on the edge of exposure. One evening, the suspense heightened. Chloe asked if she could drop by just to hang out. My heart raced. Alone in the apartment, I had two options: embrace the chance and reveal a glimpse of the secret, or retreat into the safety of Alex's normal identity. I decided on a daring compromise, halfway between concealment and revelation. I dressed carefully, nothing too extreme, but enough to showcase the transformation. A soft lavender dress, mid-length with subtle frills, combined with heels that gave my legs elegance, without overstatement. Hair styled in gentle curls, subtle makeup highlighting my features. Every detail mattered. When Chloe arrived, I was seated casually on the couch, a book in hand, but beneath the calm exterior, my nerves flared. Her eyes widened the instant she entered.
Wow.
"Ryan, you look," she trailed off, laughing lightly, unsure whether to be teasing or sincere. My chest tightened. This was exactly the thrill I had imagined, being noticed, admired, and subtly acknowledged for the transformation I had nurtured in secret. "Cute," she finally added, with a wink that sent shivers down my spine. We spent the evening together, talking about school, music, and trivial things, but the undercurrent was unmistakable. Every touch of her hand brushing mine, every shared laugh, Every glance carried the tension of dual identities, the Alex she knew and the transformed version she seemed to delight in. I realized then that the thrill of crossdressing had evolved. It was no longer a private indulgence. It was now intertwined with desire, intimacy, and the suspense of what Chloe might do or say next. The following days became a careful dance of preparation and secrecy. I experimented with outfits that were bolder, skirts with flowing layers, dresses with plunging backs, accessories that highlighted the persona I was creating. Makeup became more expressive. Winged eyeliner, soft blush that brought warmth to my cheeks, and lips that seemed impossibly alluring. Each session was a mixture of excitement and fear. I was constantly aware that any misstep could reveal too much too soon. Internal struggles gnawed at me. What if Chloe was only teasing? What if she enjoyed the attention but never truly understood the person I became when I transformed? The stakes felt higher than ever. Each encounter became a test. Could I maintain composure, charm, and confidence while hiding the full truth? Could I navigate her teasing without exposing the deepest, most vulnerable version of myself? One afternoon, the suspense reached a new height. Chloe invited herself over unexpectedly, and I had little time to prepare. Panicked, I grabbed my soft pink dress, quickly curling my hair and throwing on makeup with trembling hands. The adrenaline was intoxicating, the fear of exposure thrilling. When she entered, her eyes sparkled with amusement. "You're really enjoying this, huh?" she teased, clearly noticing the deliberate effort I had put into appearance and demeanor. We spent hours together, and the tension was palpable. She laughed, teased, and leaned close, every interaction leaving me breathless. Her casual mention of girlfriend in passing, "You'd make such a cute girlfriend," felt like both a challenge and an invitation. The emotional stakes were higher than ever. I was navigating flirtation, secrecy, and desire all at once, and each interaction felt like a careful balancing act. But the suspense wasn't just emotional, it was physical as well. The more I cross-dressed, the more I became aware of the subtle movements, the delicate shifts in posture, the sway of hips, and the elegance of gestures. Each detail added realism to the persona, but also heightened vulnerability. One misplaced step in heels, one accidental brush of fabric, could expose the secret entirely. And with Chloe around, the thrill of discovery, or accidental exposure, was intoxicating. The suspense intensified when a minor disaster struck. During one of our playful hangouts, I tripped slightly over the edge of my skirt. Chloe caught me instantly, laughing but with a glint of intrigue in her eyes. "Careful, my girlfriend," she said teasingly, the words sending a jolt through my body. Panic mingled with exhilaration. Could she be taking this seriously? Or was it all just fun? The uncertainty, the thrill of possible revelation, kept me on edge, heightening every sensation, every heartbeat. Each moment of crossdressing became more than just a personal indulgence. It became a suspenseful performance, a blend of thrill, intimacy, and emotional vulnerability. Chloe's reactions, the possibility of exposure, and the deepening of desire created a tension that was impossible to ignore. I was learning not just to transform externally, but to embody the persona emotionally, mentally, and socially, navigating the delicate dance between Alex and the persona Chloe seemed to adore. By the end of the build-up, the stakes were clear. The secret was no longer just mine. Chloe's attention, teasing, and playful suggestions had turned a private indulgence into a high-stakes emotional adventure. Every encounter was fraught with tension. Every glance carried weight, and every transformation became a daring act of vulnerability. I was no longer just practicing alone in my room. I was performing for the person whose opinion mattered most, with the thrilling risk of exposure adding intensity to every moment. The build-up sets the stage for the climax, where suspense, emotional tension, and transformative stakes will peak, leading to high-stakes scenarios, unexpected obstacles, and moments of vulnerability that will leave viewers captivated and eager for what happens next. The week after Chloe's playful teasing escalated the tension, I found myself caught in a storm of anticipation, excitement, and anxiety. Every message from her felt like a heartbeat in my chest. Each glance carried weight, and each interaction became a high-stakes test of confidence and secrecy. My life had shifted. Crossdressing was no longer a private indulgence. It was now a delicate performance, with Chloe as both audience and participant, her playful teasing blurring the line between fantasy and reality. It all came to a head one Friday evening. Chloe invited me to a casual study session at her apartment. Normally, I could have dressed casually, hidden my heels, and slipped seamlessly into Alex's everyday persona. But this time, I wanted to push the boundaries. I wanted Chloe to see me as both Alex and the transformed version of myself, fully embodied. I spent hours preparing, choosing a soft lilac dress with flowing layers, carefully curling my hair, applying makeup with precision, and practicing the subtle sway of my hips and gestures to perfect the persona. Each detail mattered. The stakes had never felt higher. When I arrived at her door, my pulse was a wild drumbeat. Chloe opened the door, her eyes immediately widening. "Ryan, wow," she breathed, her smile teasing but her gaze intense. My heart raced. She wasn't just amused anymore. There was curiosity, intrigue, and perhaps even admiration in her expression. I stepped inside, heels clicking on the hardwood floor, every sound amplified in my mind. The thrill of being seen, fully exposed, yet still accepted, was intoxicating. We settled into the study session. Books and notes spread across the table, but the air was charged with unspoken tension. Every time Chloe brushed her hand against mine, laughed at a joke, or leaned in to examine notes, my mind spun. The duality of Alex and my transformed self made every gesture loaded with suspense. Could she see the shift in me? The confidence, the subtle sensuality, the persona I had meticulously crafted, or was I still safely hidden behind Alex's nervous smile? The situation escalated when she suggested a break. "Why don't we take a little break?" she said, leaning back and giving me a teasing look. I knew exactly what she meant. The tension of proximity, the risk of exposure, and the allure of playful intimacy created a charged atmosphere. I followed her into the living room, trying to maintain composure while my mind raced. And then it happened. A sudden noise at the window. A neighbor passing by paused, peering in, and I froze mid-step. The skirt of my dress fluttered slightly, the heels giving a subtle but audible click as I shifted. Chloe noticed immediately, her eyes sparkling with amusement. "Careful, my girlfriend," she whispered, her voice low, teasing, and the words sent shivers down my spine. The mix of playful teasing and real possibility of exposure was electrifying. Our conversation shifted, playful teasing escalating into more daring interaction. She leaned closer, brushing hair from my face, her laughter soft and intoxicating. I could feel the vulnerability, the fear of exposure, the thrill of being admired, and the emotional tension, all coalescing into a moment that felt like both a test and a temptation. Every gesture, every word, every glance carried weight. My pulse raced, and I was acutely aware that one misstep could reveal more than intended. The suspense heightened further when Chloe suggested we try a photo for fun. "Just one quick picture," she said, her eyes mischievous. I hesitated. What if it captured too much? What if the image somehow ended up in the wrong hands? But the thrill of her playful insistence, the desire to impress, and the possibility of being fully seen overcame my fear. I posed carefully, balancing Alex's nerves and my transformed persona's poise, every motion calculated to convey elegance without fully revealing vulnerability. The camera click echoed in the room, a small but potent reminder of exposure. Chloe laughed softly, reviewing the photo. "You look amazing," she said, her voice carrying genuine admiration beneath the teasing tone. My heart raced. This was more than a compliment. It was acknowledgement, validation, and perhaps the first step toward the possibility of becoming her girlfriend in a way that transcended mere fantasy. But suspense always demands a challenge. The doorbell rang unexpectedly. My stomach dropped. Who could it be now? Another neighbor? A roommate returning early? Panic flared, threatening to shatter the delicate balance I had maintained. Chloe noticed my hesitation and grinned knowingly, leaning closer. "Relax, it's probably nothing," she whispered, though the tension in her own voice betrayed a hint of excitement. I tiptoed to the door, heels clicking against the hardwood. Every movement was amplified by fear and anticipation. I peeked through the peephole. An unexpected visitor stood there, holding a package. My relief was immediate but fleeting. The adrenaline surged, heightening the thrill of the moment. Returning inside, I found Chloe watching me with a knowing look. "See? Nothing to worry about," she said, though her playful tone suggested she was savoring the suspense as much as I was. The evening continued, each interaction layered with tension. Chloe's laughter, her teasing, the subtle touches, and the acknowledgement of my transformation created a charged atmosphere where every moment felt like a delicate negotiation between vulnerability and desire. My confidence grew, but so did the stakes. Every glance, every word, every gesture could either solidify this new closeness or unravel it entirely. The climax reached its peak when she suggested we try on some outfits for fun. The playful activity turned into a high-stakes game of trust, exposure, and emotional intensity. Each garment, each pose, each experiment with makeup heightened the suspense. Chloe's reactions were intoxicating, her words a blend of teasing, admiration, and challenge. I was simultaneously terrified and exhilarated, aware that this moment could redefine everything between us. By the end of the evening, I was physically and emotionally drained. Every high heel click, every swish of a dress, every glance from Chloe had pushed me to the edge of my comfort zone. But I had survived, not just survived, but thrived, discovering new confidence, deeper emotional connection, and the intoxicating thrill of being fully seen and appreciated. The stakes had been high, the suspense unbearable at times, but the exhilaration was unmatched. The evening had been a whirlwind, laughter, teasing, moments of daring intimacy, and the electric thrill of being seen fully, yet carefully hidden behind a veil of playful performance. Chloe had left just minutes ago, her parting words still echoing in my mind. "You'd make the cutest girlfriend, Ryan." My heart was still racing, my mind a storm of exhilaration, desire, and uncertainty. I sat on the edge of my bed, heels kicked off, hair slightly tousled, and makeup still perfectly in place. The apartment was silent except for the faint hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the floorboards. For a moment, I allowed myself to breathe, to revel in the success of the evening, how I had navigated every challenge, every suspenseful moment, and emerged both thrilled and unexposed. But then reality intruded. My phone buzzed. A message from Chloe. My pulse jumped. Carefully, I unlocked it, half expecting a casual comment. Instead, it was a photo, a snap of me from earlier in the evening, captured mid-laugh, looking completely transformed, radiant, and undeniably beautiful. The caption read, "You really do pull this off." Smirking face, a shiver ran down my spine. On one hand, it was exhilarating, a validation of all my effort, a playful acknowledgement from the girl I'd dreamed about. On the other hand, it was terrifying. That photo, my secret fully revealed in pixels, could be seen by anyone. Chloe's playful intentions were clear, but the power of that single image was immense. The suspense of potential exposure, whether intentional or accidental, loomed large, a tension I couldn't shake. I sank back against the wall, the thrill of the evening colliding with the fear of what could come next. Chloe's teasing words, the daring interactions, and the image she had sent created a dangerous mix of desire, vulnerability, and suspense. I was caught between exhilaration and anxiety, craving her attention while fearing the consequences of being fully seen. The evening replayed in my mind, the accidental stumble in heels, the brush of her hand, her whispered teasing, and the subtle but intense emotional connection we had shared. Each moment had been a careful balancing act, and now, in the quiet aftermath, the tension shifted. What would happen if she told someone? What if the image leaked? What if this playful flirtation escalated into something irreversible? A sudden knock at the door jolted me from my thoughts. My heart leapt. Chloe? Or something else entirely? The suspense was unbearable. I froze, every muscle tense, wondering if I should peek, hide, or risk stepping forward. The apartment felt smaller, every shadow more pronounced, every creak more ominous. My dual identity, Alex and my transformed self, hung in the balance, vulnerable, exposed, yet thrillingly alive. Before I could decide, my phone buzzed again. Another message. I hesitated, then unlocked it. Chloe's text read, "Can't wait to see you again. Maybe next time we go further?" 2 hearts. The words sent a shiver through me, part fear, part desire. The stakes had escalated beyond anything I had imagined. Chloe was no longer just a crush teasing me for fun. She was an active participant in a game of emotional suspense, testing boundaries and drawing me deeper into a world of transformation, desire, and uncertainty. I glanced in the mirror. The reflection stared back, Alex's familiar eyes framed by makeup, the soft curls framing a face that belonged somewhere between fantasy and reality. Who was I, truly? The version Chloe had seen, admired, and teased, or the Alex who existed in the safety of everyday life? The question hung in the air, unresolved, leaving my mind spinning with possibilities and fear. The knock at the door persisted, louder this time. My pulse raced. The phone buzzed again. Another message. The photo, the teasing texts, the knock, all converging into a moment of suspense that refused resolution. I wanted to answer, to step forward, to embrace the thrill, but the fear of exposure, of losing control, held me back. And then the final, chilling thought struck me. Chloe had seen everything. She knew the secret, and she was playing with it. Was it playful, innocent, or something more? And what if someone else discovered it? The tension, the risk, and the allure combined into a perfect storm of suspense. I sat frozen, heels discarded, dress slightly rumpled, phone in hand, heart pounding. The world outside my apartment felt simultaneously normal and charged with unseen possibilities. Chloe's words, the image, and the knock at the door left me suspended in a moment of uncertainty, desire, and fear. The story ends here, not with resolution, but with tension. The audience is left asking, will Ryan answer the door? Will Chloe's playful teasing evolve into something deeper? Could this secret be exposed, and what would that mean for him? The cliffhanger leaves viewers eager, anxious, and ready to speculate on the next chapter of this suspenseful, emotionally charged journey.